Second Vice President, Criminal Justice Chair for the Cincinnati NAACP.
And I'm Sean Butler, Executive Committee Member in Leadership.
And Truth to Power is the podcast that will give you information, motivation, and inspiration to be the change in your community because you are the movement. And as always, we want to send warm welcomes and best wishes from the President, Robert Richardson Sr. As always, he sends his well wishes to all of you. And we have a lot to talk about, Sean.
Quite a bit.
We have a lot going on. We have the Freedom Fund Dinner, our 2019 Freedom Fund Dinner, and it is on the way. It's happening this month, September 28th, at the Duke Energy Center. That's on a Saturday at 6:30. And our theme is, as you guessed, you are the movement. Now, Sean, can you tell us, when you hear that, what does that mean to you?
Well, you are the movement is a reminder to me to not be complacent. You know, as you said, there's a lot of things going on. Some discouraging, some that can get you down. But you are the movement reminds me that it starts with me. And, it's kind of like, Mahatma Gandhi says, be the change you want to see. And it's a reminder to the community that though things, happen, that the NAACP especially is an organization that is out representing for the community. And I'm just happy to be a part of it. And
well, we're glad to have you as a part of it.
Yeah. We encourage you to also understand that you are the movement. So the Freedom Fund Dinner gives us a chance to remind the community about that.
Exactly. And I concur with those, ideas of what you are the movement means. In this day and age where, there is a lot of people looking to what we consider leadership from Congress, other nonprofit organizations, civil rights organizations, celebrities, churches. And when they fall short of, gaining that goal or even doing it or achieving change in a fast way, what happens to us is that we become complacent and defeatist and disengaged, which is a recipe for the status quo.
Maybe a little bit even silent. You have a tendency to be quiet, and as soon as you're quiet, then the energy's gone.
There you go.
And you lose power, and power's in the people. So
key thing, and that's what we always need to remember is that the people is the power. Just like Joe always say at the end, power to the people.
Absolutely.
That's just not a statement, but that's real.
That's the truth.
We need to remember that the power is in each and every one of us, and the change that we're looking for is in us, and we have to stay focused and determined, because when you do that, you can move mountains. And I want to get to our Freedom Fund dinner portion, because our keynote speaker, I think, is the epitome of that. It is going to be none other than Cleola Brown. She is the first female African-American president of the A. Philip Randolph Institute. And just a little bit about her. She has an incredible story of perseverance and growth through the field that was pretty much male-dominated through labor and unions. She was an African-American female who was fearless and led thousands of workers to their own economic empowerment, which was monumental. Cleola Brown spent 17 years of her life in this struggle to get the biggest textile giant, J.P. Stevens, to become unionized. In 1980, Cleola Brown won a new contract for 4,000, not 100, not 1,000, 4,000 workers, and formed the I'm sorry if I'm not saying this right, Amalgamated Clothing and Textile Workers Union.
Yeah.
And there she was the executive director, civil rights director, and the manager of the laundry division. So she wore many hats. And in 1991, she was elected vice president, and then had the honor of being appointed to the National Commission on Employment by Bill Clinton. That was in 1994. And she was also elected international vice president for the AFL-CIO.
Yeah.
And in 2004, became the first African-American female president of APRI, A. Philip Randolph Institute. And so we have the absolute honor of having her be our keynote speaker. I don't think we could have gotten a more fitting individual that truly exhibits through her own life experience just what it means to be the movement.
Absolutely.
And
She
she
has a
didn't,
great resume here. I mean, that's a lot of service put
and
in.
it's probably so much more. I mean, that we only have a little bit of time on these shows, but that was just like um,
Just a
just a
little taste.
just a synopsis of what she's done.
Yeah.
But she didn't wait for Congress. She didn't wait for some celebrity to hijack the movement,
Right.
and she didn't ask for permission either.
She was the movement.
She saw what needed to be done, and she did it, and she
Hmm.
organized. And economic empowerment is something that we're all trying to achieve in a way. So, but it's not just that. What else do we have? What people need to look forward to for our Freedom Fund dinner?
Yeah. Well, we have another some other awardees too. You know, Cleola is our featured speaker, but the Freedom Fund dinner gives us an ability to recognize those in the local community who have been the movement and recognize that they had the power to change and motivate folks. Um, in some in the greater community and some just members of the NAACP. So
Right.
some of them are some of our awards are the Distinguished Volunteer Award, which Susan Johnson will receive.
Woo-hoo.
The Empowering Education Award, and that's Dr. Cheryl Dunn.
Mm.
Community Outreach and Partnership Award, which is given to a recognizing organization. And Procter and Gamble, we decided, and they won that award.
They give 25,000 to our youth council every year,
P&G.
and they support their efforts in our youth, who are the next leaders in our community. So we appreciate them.
And to continue, Theodore M. Berry Award will be our very own Yvette Simpson, who's
What?
yeah,
Yvette.
yeah,
Simpson.
yeah, she's all star, all star.
Doing great things.
She's on like national TV now,
When you leave Cincinnati.
and
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
absolutely. So, Inspiring Innovator Award goes to Carla Walker, and Carla, man, that's like a sister of mine. She was one of my first bosses.
What?
Yeah, I can't wait for her to get that award. She is,
Awesome.
and also a Walnut Hills graduate. I had my 20-year anniversaries, 20-year, what is it called? A reunion this weekend.
Oh,
Carla is a
really?
Walnut graduate.
Okay.
She'll be receiving that award. We have the Wright Overstreet Memorial Award, and that's to a professor of mine of distinguished character, and that's Dr. P. Eric Abercrombie.
Okay.
Yes, indeed,
Yes.
from UC. And then we have the President's Award.
Which
And-
is selected by the president
Hmm.
of the chapter, and he chose
And that's Jan Michelle Lemon Kearney.
Jan Michelle Lemon
These
Kearney.
are Cincinnati
Congratulations.
stalwarts. They are they're large, and they do a lot of work. So we want to recognize them. We also have a couple other awards. They're just special tributes.
Yes.
One will receive the Community Arts Award, and that's Robert O'Neill. And
He was an incredible artist. We showcased some of his work at our last Freedom Fund dinner, and hopefully we get to do that again. But Robert O'Neill dedicated his life to the arts and civil rights in the community. He mentored and encouraged artists throughout Cincinnati to express their artistic talent and display it for the world to see. This is something that we want to recognize. Hopefully, uh, this recognition will lead to something that we do for more artists, because we want that spirit and that innovation to continue. And there's a lot of creativity in our city and people doing incredible things. So we want to honor his legacy and in remembrance, do something that showcase the artists in Cincinnati. So hopefully we can begin that moving forward.
yeah,
And
and then we've got Marion Spencer, who, of course, come on, that's like Cincinnati royalty
icon,
icon,
freaking
iconic.
icon.
Yeah.
Marion Spencer, we lost her on July the 9th. She was 99 years young. Her grandfather was a former slave, and he inspired her to be a fighter against injustice as a young child. And she carried that courage and tenacity all her life, and from that helped desegregate Coney Island, um, and that was when she chaired the legal action committee with the Cincinnati NAACP. She was the first female president of the Cincinnati chapter NAACP.
She was the first African American woman to be elected to City of Cincinnati Council.
hmm And she was the vice mayor of city of Cincinnati.
Hmm.
So she is definitely an icon, a trailblazer for justice, and the NAACP, not just the Cincinnati NAACP, the entire
National.
NAACP is proud of her and her service, incredible service toward equality and justice. And we will fight to continue her legacy. And we're going to hold a special tribute to her. We already received something special from the national office, and you just have to be there
Yeah.
to see what that is. And how much are the tickets? Because people are like, where can we get the tickets? How do we get the tickets? How much does it cost? Can you let us know?
Yeah, so they're affordable. They're $85 for a Freedom Fund dinner ticket. It's a great event and great evening out on the town in Cincinnati. If you want to purchase a table, which you bring your crew, your family along, it's just $850.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going fast. So this is what
Yeah,
we're really getting out in the public now, just to let them know that
we
there's still
got you.
opportunity.
Yeah, but quickly get those tables because those are going fast.
Hmm.
And the 28th will be here like this. And this event, no one wants to miss it. You don't want to miss it. So you have to be there. So how do you get the tickets? You can go to our website, CincinnatiNAACP.com. You can even go to our Facebook page. And at the top, there's a link with our keynote speaker's face. And you can click that, and it takes you straight to Eventbrite to purchase tickets. You can always come to our office, which is 3494 Reading Road,
Hmm.
during business hours, Monday through Friday,
Right in
and
Avondale.
purchase it, buy your tickets there. Um, so there's plenty ways to do it. Don't wait to the last minute. You want an incredible seat, so get it
You don't want
quickly.
to miss it.
Get it quickly. And so, what else do we have here?
A lot more stuff. Yeah, yeah.
Let's see.
We've got a Get Out the Vote campaign
Get
going
out
on,
the
don't we?
vote.
Yeah. This
So
2020 is important.
2020 is coming. We still got 2019, and we're doing our Get Out to Vote campaign launch, which was going to be My Vote Matters. I think people have a disconnect, and our biggest issue is our voter turnout in a lot of ways. Now, I know you all know recently that the Democratic Party actually sued the Secretary of State, Frank LaRose, in an effort to prevent him from purging 235,000 potential voters are scheduled to be removed as of tomorrow, September the 6th. And that's from everything due to inactivity, um, a failing to vote or update their registrations for 6 years or 12 elections. And additionally, if you fail to respond to a state postcard attempting to reach you, your names can be removed off the rolls. So this has become a partisan issue. And since June, organizations like ourselves, the NAACP, and the League of Women Voters have been working to contact voters
Mhm.
and do voter registration. Now, in the Columbus Dispatch, I'm going to read real quickly. The U.S. District Judge James L. Graham on Tuesday chose not to delay the Secretary of State Frank LaRose purge of 235,000 people on Ohio voter registration. So it is going down tomorrow.
Mhm.
A spokesperson for the Secretary of State, Maggie Shanahan, said, obviously, we're happy about the court's recognition of the unprecedented levels of transparency we brought to this process. We'll continue our work to carry out the law and our mission to run accessible, secure, and accurate elections. Now, Greg Beswick, the executive director of the Ohio Democratic Party, which had requested the temporary restraining order on Friday, said voters will suffer.
Mm.
It is disturbing that this week plan to voter purge will go forward, even when the Secretary of State office has admitted there is an ongoing investigation into errors that resulted in thousands of Ohio voters being improperly removed, and we contend unlawfully flagged to be removed from the rolls, Beswick said. The specter that any active voters are purged due to government error and no fault of their own is unacceptable. We will continue to advocate for every eligible voter in Ohio, no matter their partisan affiliation, to have the opportunity to cast a ballot and make their voices heard. And the Democratic lawsuit was filed after the Dispatch reporter vendor who works with County Board of Elections mistakenly flagged more than 1,600 people for purging from the rolls,
Mistakenly.
yeah, of eligible voters,
Right.
making the second time in 3 weeks that problems have surfaced with the list of registrations that could be canceled next week. And Democrats counting additional possible discrepancies uncovered by the Ohio League of Women Voters and others said more than 30,000 eligible voters could be removed in the purge. So things are happening right now, and we have to
It's a battle
stay on
going on.
top of it. It's a battle for your opportunity to vote.
Yeah, they're cutting down voter participation. And, the NAACP, we're all about participation. You got to get out there. And even though you've registered to vote, you have to actually do it. You got to actually turn out.
There is a website that you can go to, I guess, after tomorrow, maybe even now, to search to see if your name is on that database. Roughly 230,000 people will be in this database. And it's the website is www.ohiosos.gov/registration reset.
And I think we'll flash that up.
Yeah.
We can
I'll
flash
say it again, www.ohiosos.gov/registration reset. That's all together. And go to that website, see if your name is on there. And if it is, get yourself registered to vote immediately. And if there's people where you are asking you to get registered to vote, just do it just to be on the safe side.
Yep. Can never be too safe. And we're going to promote an effort we've got coming up.
Well,
this is in the works.
Yeah, well, we're definitely still doing our candidates forum. This year, we have school board members and judicial candidates. So that's going to be happening in October. Our political chair, Jesse Jenkins, is actually working, doing voter registration drives. And we're actually collaborating with the county, now I'm having a brain fart. But
all right.
It's the Coalition for Just Hamilton County with Judge Tracy Hunter. So in that organized group that meets every Monday, there's a section that is focused on voter registration and elections. So
yeah, and we'll be back to give you updates and remind you of this information we're sharing with you now.
And he even have an idea of having a political town hall at the jails.
Yeah, and maybe on UC.
And then we have our youth who are working to get the presidential candidates to come next year. So, and have their town hall at UC. So they're actually working with some politicians at City Hall and working to reach out to the leadership at UC to make this happen, which I think is wonderful because as we were talking about our campaign, My Vote Matters, we have to give people the why. And when we had the great debate last year with the young people, one of their reasons we asked them, what is it going to take to get more young people to participate in the upcoming elections? And they were saying, well, one, sometimes it's transportation.
Yeah.
Two, no one is holding the candidates forums where we are.
You got to take it to the people.
Take it to them. You know what I mean? And just a few other things. So, we took that information and we're trying to make something happen from that. And I have a lot of faith in our young leaders. Jalen Alford is the president of the Youth Council, and he's a credible young man.
He just requested me on Facebook, man. What's up, Jalen?
Yeah, put your arms around him. Yeah. He get some of your skill set, and he going to be set to go.
Appreciate that.
You know what I mean? So, but that's what it is. We're proud of them, and, just keep up the good work, the positive work. And so they're going to be doing things, and if you want to join and help us in those efforts, we're always looking for volunteers.
Yeah, you know where to find us.
You know where to find us, and go to our website and everything. Yeah. So what else can we tackle on? Because we got a few more minutes. We can hit a few more things. Yeah, okay, so it's football season.
Yeah, it is.
Officially starting today.
It's football season. It's everything season. And I love this time of year. You got baseball, you got football, you got just everything starting.
Mm-hmm.
You know, NBA is going to start in a few weeks.
Yeah, I love the weather
Everything
right now.
happens in the fall.
But with everything going on with the NFL, are you ready for some football? Are black people ready for some football?
I think they are. I know they playing it.
What they play? What you trying to say?
80% of those players are black.
So Jay-Z made it okay.
Look,
Colin Kaepernick, we ain't boycotting no more.
We just jumping right into that.
Yeah.
Is Jay-Z a part of the boycott?
I mean, what do you think?
All I know, this is my piece on that. You remember when I think it was a Super Bowl, right, in Atlanta, and the halftime act didn't look like the city of Atlanta. You know, it was like country western and all of that. And some of the entertainers were upset that they didn't get maybe a Ludacris or something to do the halftime show. Jay-Z was really vocal about inclusion, inclusion efforts that the NFL, he met with the NFL to talk about. And I think that kind of got mixed up in the Kaepernick thing.
Yeah, because I was going to ask you, when was that? Was this during our boycott years?
I believe this might have been during that. Yeah.
So if it's during our boycott years, like they wanted a lot of people. They wanted Rihanna and different ones, and they declined. And they declined because they didn't want to lend their talents to the NFL.
Well, it's a lot of issues because the NFL are not like culturally conscious, I don't believe.
Yeah.
And now they're getting better. And, well, Jay-Z's at the table. He's fighting. I'm not necessarily mad at Jay-Z.
I mean, I'm not mad at Jay-Z either. I'm kind of indifferent. I need more information. I need to see what exactly this is going to lead to. But
to me, he's pushing inclusion.
Yes, but in what way? Because if we're still going to have ownership that wants to blackball African American players who are enacting their First Amendment rights, especially in something that's serious as the lives of black men, women, and children who are gunned down unjustly by law enforcement, if they can't rationale and be behind an effort like that, then what are we really saying? Why are we condemning people in such an honorable effort? Why is that when we want our voices heard, or we see people that have a platform and they're trying to show that we are with you? They do that even in the NBA, like when that happened to Tamir Rice, the Cleveland, Cavaliers. They switched up their jerseys. They let them know we are with the people, and there was no condemnation from that. How does the ownership, take that and some of the fans and you make it into the flag, and then you make this us versus them, and the whole nucleus of what it's all about is
kind of
lost in everything, and they don't see that, and they don't stick up for them.
I can see what you're saying. I think that the leadership in the NBA is a lot different from the NFL. Adam Silver is different from Roger Goodell.
I don't know none of them.
You see, and that's what I'm saying. So it's all about leadership. I think Jay-Z keeps the door open for conversation and for more progress to happen. I also have to say that Kaepernick, won his lawsuit against the NFL. He and Eric Reed won a lawsuit against the NFL.
But was that the end goal?
After you sue a company and get paid, you still want a job from the company?
Well, at the very least,
I wouldn't have took the money.
At the very least, they was doing it because they took his money. When they did not give him an opportunity, he lost, and they made what he did like it was a bad thing and made it political. So at the very least, yeah, give him the bag, give him the money. But if the man is also still saying, I'm still fit and I'm ready, this is life, his passion, he ain't asked for this. He ain't asked for this type of backlash. He just wanted to do something in representation of, what's going on in his communities and across the nation. And he even asked respectfully, what is a good way to do that, in honor of that? And he was told by an actual veteran.
I know this. Eric Reed won the lawsuit along with him, and he's still playing in the NFL. So it's a lot of stuff. I don't know. I'm not necessarily.
Eric Reed wasn't the face, though. It was Kaepernick.
He's still a player.
I know he's still playing, but what does that mean?
I think it's debatable. I know this. You're not going to watch the NFL. You still with the boycott?
No, I don't want it running in my house.
Well, I'm not boycotting Jay-Z. I know that. Jay-Z is my man.
Yeah, Jay-Z cool.
I ain't boycotting Jay-Z.
Because I'm hoping what I would like to see from Jay-Z is for him to link up
Hmm.
with other power,
Yeah, yeah.
people like the Magic Johnsons and the 50 Cents
And the
and
Oprahs.
Oprahs, and you get buy a portion in ownership, and then all the good players can come and play for your team, and we'll dominate, and it won't be no Patriots. And that's another thing. I mean, who want to see that year after year after year? Like, I'm over it. I'm over
You
it.
talking about the Patriots? You in
I mean,
Cincinnati.
from what I understand, they be at the Super Bowl every year and they winning it. So I'm
Say,
over
what
it.
about the Bengals?
Man, I mean, what, they got a high school coach or something? Let me. Let's just
I'm
move on.
I'm with Jay-Z, but like I said,
I can't. Not with the.
there's a lot of other things that need to be figured out.
So we're just getting over the Labor Day holiday.
Yeah, big weekend.
3-day weekend. Believe it or not, Friday is almost here. You know what I mean?
That's a good thing.
I live for the weekends, but also want everyone to remember, the importance of Labor Day, because that was through the movement of the unions,
Mhm.
and because of the unions, you get weekends, paid vacation.
A laundry list of things. Like the unions have brought about some of the things that I don't, know if people understand. So, weekends, the concept of having the weekend off
Mm-hmm.
comes from a union.
I mean, they was actually working people 7 days a week
Yeah,
under conditions that weren't safe.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Even children, before child labor laws.
Exactly. Well, I mean, America did have slavery, so I mean,
There we go.
it took a long time for workers' rights. You know what I'm saying?
To be a conversation. The 8-hour workday,
it would work you all day if they could.
overtime pay.
Your health care, your dental, your vision, what's the benefits for working for an employer? Like they just suck all your time, suck all your life for a few coins, and it was nothing on top of that, no benefits.
Yeah, so just workers' rights. I mean, there's a lot of other points that unions brought to bear when talking about collective bargaining, and when you talk to these companies who might want to work you all day without a break. The concept of a break comes about because of a union. Raises, sexual harassment laws, paid sick leave.
Raises. Like, can you imagine working at the same rate for years, decades, never change?
Many have. And the union said not again. So, these are the things that they've brought to the fore.
Absolutely. And we also know that, the union has a sticky past. It wasn't always, during that era of segregation and Jim Crow, it was very ugly, white only.
We're aware of that.
Yeah. So, just like everything else, we had to overcome a lot to get to where we are, but to the point where the unions are now, where they fight for workers' rights, and they diligently work for livable wages for people. It's commendable work, and it's not just for white people; it's for all people.
Yeah.
And more companies, more people should fight for companies. But when the union fight, the whole point when the unions fight, it's a win for everybody. And so it's real easy for people to knock down, labor and everything else, and to say things, but what their fight benefits everyone collectively. And so support them, support that. And if you feel like you need unions at your company, there's ways to find out more about that.
Contact the NAACP. We'll put you in contact.
To some good unions around here. Hey, our president is the vice president, regional manager for LIUNA. That's an international labor union. He has like 9 states in his footprint, so it's pretty big. So one thing people don't know about President Robert Richardson is that he, just like Cleola Brown, worked from humble beginnings. He was a journeyman. He actually helped build the engineering facility at UC, which ended up being the same facility his son graduated from. So, with his bare hands, and from those humble beginnings all the way to being a vice president, regional manager, and one of the few African Americans in that position. He is one who cannot be compromised He is well respected throughout the country.
Yeah.
That's one of the things, uh, people can't throw their money at him and, make us be silent. Um, he is a self-made man, and he's from Alabama, and so he got rich roots in the civil rights. Some of his family has dealt and has been in pivotal roles in the desegregation down there, and so it is ingrained in him in a lot of ways.
Wow, I didn't know some of that, but that's
Hmm
you
From
make a lot of good points.
Beatrice,
But he can't be bought, and he
Alabama.
stays vigilant in the fight.
hmm
You know,
So, say all of that. I guess we're coming to an end, and we did it in perfect timing.
that's because you Nicole. You got it in,
You should
man.
see
I'm
the
just happy
last
to be
episode.
with you.
Oh, you stupid. This is my man Sean, and he is incredible. Thank you so much for being here with us
Doing
today
this. Yeah.
and sharing great information. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope to see you at the Freedom Fund dinner
We'll see
September
you
the
there.
28th. Yeah, get them tickets. Hurry up. Don't wait till the last minute.
And we'll catch you next time on Truth to Power.
Truth to Power on Sin Digital Media, and we're out.
Get that.